Hello, BookTube. It's time once again to go looking for bookish love in all the wrong places. the least likely place, you might think. Entertainment Weekly, the entertainment magazine that is sold everywhere in the country and probably all over the world, that deals with all things Hollywood. As you can tell, the emphasis is on the cool, the sexy, the buzzy. So a magazine like Entertainment Weekly wouldn't. This is those of you who don't know, this is Sam Heughan, the star of the TV adaptation of Diana Gabaldon's book Outlander. And you know, because of what it covers, Entertainment Weekly really doesn't have to talk about books at all, and it always encourages me that they do. And part of that is necessity, right? Because the entertainment industry, the small screen, the video games, especially movies, is hugely driven by the book world. It might not like to admit that because we're the uncool kids, but still, drawing your source material, as it were, from the written word is more popular now than it's ever been. So although the bookish coverage in Entertainment Weekly is always way at the back of the magazine, past the loading dock, past the garbage bins, I bet that flipping through the issue, we will find bookish stuff before we get there, including the cover. Where have I got this? Yeah, this is Outlander, Diana Gabaldon. This is a series of opulent historical romances that are terrific to read, terrific to reread. The show is fantastic. So, and the show wouldn't exist without the loyal legions of fans for the books. I'm sure that if somebody had pitched this, an idea similar to this without the books and the loyal readership to follow it up, it wouldn't have gone very far. So we start off right away with the cover. I'm in a very. Oh, by the way, I should mention, I don't know if you can make it out. This cover was one of a multiple set, and I got the correct one. So I'm very happy about that. But I'm in a very buzzy, entertainment-y, Hollywood-y type mood because I watched a couple of screeners just recently, and I was very pleased with both of them. I watched Vice, which is a new movie that's coming out about George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. It's obvious Oscar bait. It's Christian Bale, who's an actor that I usually loathe, who did one of those classic things where he did a physical transformation into Dick Cheney. Physically, he added 150 pounds of weight. He just absorbs himself in the character. It's an obvious Oscar-worthy performance, and I was thinking that might be all it was, but the movie was really good. It's really entertaining. It's unexpectedly funny, considering that none of us thought that anything to do with Dick Cheney was a laughing matter at the time. Obvious Oscar bait, much like Beautiful Boy. I watched a trailer for that, too, and God almighty. the Oscar lunges in that movie are a little bit on the obvious side. But the screener I watched just recently that really surprised me was Aquaman. Oh my! You know what to expect in a DC cinematic universe movie, with only one exception. The exception is Wonder Woman. Everything else, you know exactly what to expect. The whole thing will take place at night in the rain. No one will crack a smile. It will be incredibly grim. The hero will play against the source material. So Batman kills, and does so without compunction. Superman is grim instead of optimistic. You name it, right down the line. Flash is an inept kid instead of a practiced superhero. And I confess, after watching Jason Momoa as Aquaman in the Justice League movie, I thought, okay, that's exactly what we'll get. And no, no. It's incredible. It's fantastic. And it's also shot in bright sunlight, which I've never seen a DC Universe cinematic movie done that way. They don't do that, and this was done that. Even Wonder Woman is under the clouds of war. There are overcast days and whatnot. This is shot in bright sunlight. It's full of bright colors, and the performances. There's a. I don't want to spoil anything about the movie. I urge you all to go and see it, to put it mildly. But an unexpectedly large amount of the movie. Unexpected by me, anyway, absolutely depends on the interpersonal chemistry between the character of Aquaman and the character of Mera, who is a character from the comic book. She has decades and decades and decades of history behind her, and the writer of the movie decided to make their relationship different than it is in the comic books. But the way they make it different is a kind of throwback to razor-edged Rosalind Russell, Cary Grant type screwball sharp humor, and that absolutely will fail unless the two stars have chemistry, and these two do. They pull it off just wonderfully. So I'm all jazzed up for Hollywood type stuff. So we'll just work our way through this issue. Let's see. There's a little thing on Doctor Who, on the new Doctor Who. Okay. All right, there's a little box feature. What if it's Hollywood's next big thing? And it's about What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. Adam Silvera, of course, they both die at the end. And Becky Albertalli is the person who wrote Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. That became Love, Simon, a movie that I thought was badly miscast all around, but especially in its lead. But I guess it was effectively done, and it certainly has won a huge and vocal fan base. And I guess this box is going to be asking if What If It's Us is the next one. Two queer YA's best writers team up for an infectiously sweet story of young love set against New York's bustling backdrop. Without a doubt, this is the gay rom-com you've been waiting for. Okay. All right. I don't know if that's true. I went into What If It's Us with the most willing heart in the world. I wanted to like that book. And if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you know that I don't usually go into books one way or another. I know it's a typical thing for a reader to say, I went into this and I really wanted to like it. But I don't. I go into a book completely neutral. I want it to make me like it. I don't. But with this one, I felt well disposed. I wanted to like it, and it is such a lazy book. Oh my God! Instead of two YA authors coming together, both of whom have gaping flaws in their writing skill set, to put it mildly. They also have huge strengths. Both of them do. And I guess a part of me was hoping that they would, when they came together to collaborate on a book, their strengths would complement each other. Instead, their weaknesses exaggerate each other's weaknesses. It's such a lazy book. Right from the beginning, from the opening scene, the opening bit where the two young men meet each other, which is it's page after page after page of English prose, but there's no description. We're told that so-and-so has a smile like, and then fill in a celebrity's name. You're not familiar with the celebrity? Tough. You don't know what the character looks like. One of the characters makes an awkward attempt at conversation and then says to himself, 2 points for Gryffindor. Okay, if you know what that means, you're okay. If you don't, then you're not okay, because the book doesn't give you any other indication than that. It's totally relying on you to do most of the inferencing first for it. And there's no possible reason why, if these are two intelligent writers for an intelligent audience on an intelligent subject, there's no possible reason why scene after scene after scene has to be so derivative. Oh my God. So if this is the next big thing, with two adorable straight actors as the two gay boys in the story, then I suppose I'll just have to grin and bear it. That is a screener I will not be watching. But let's see. Let's see if we can find... Oh, okay, all right. Well, okay, we go from one end of the spectrum to the other, because they also gave a shout-out to Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zusak. This is his first book in forever, in well over a decade. And it's terrific. Just terrific. I almost said it almost doesn't feel like YA, but only because YA is so typically characterized by What If It's Us, by syrupy crap like this, where the writers just think, if I serve this up lukewarm for you with par C ingredients, you'll lap it right up, so why should I do more? And whatever motivation Marcus Zusak is writing from, it's not that, because Bridge of Clay I don't think has any chance of taking off the way The Book Thief did, but it's a terrific book, and who cares if it's YA? I mean, it is. You can see some of the the walls, some of the parameters of the genre, but still, I loved it. Oh man, I hardly recommend it. See, so we're nowhere near the book section. We're already got lots of book stuff done. Profanity. Okay, then we have the big article on Outlander, because the new series of Outlander carries the characters to colonial era America. And you know, I'm looking forward to it. I just think the show is done with so much heart and so much energy. It is so energetic. You'll be exhausted when you finish with a season. So it's a nice long sequence. That's great. Okay. Then we have a long article on the adaptation of The Hate U Give, which is another book. It's a thing that's entirely derived from a book. Interesting. See, so they might scorn us, BookTube, but they can't do without us. And then we get to movies. Okay, so we have A Star is Born, which I'm not going to see. We have Venom. They give it a C+, and I'm curious to know now. I don't actually have a screener for Venom, and I wonder if there's a coincidence to that, because the reports are all over the map. Most people that I know of, or that I've asked, or that have seen screeners or advanced screenings of it, have said that it is weirdly bad, but no consensus. So that's. Oh, okay. I tell you, this is full of books. Pet Sematary is being adapted for the screen, for the new movie, I guess. That's John Lithgow. And there is a picture of the evil resurrected cat, and of course, because it's a cat, it looks just like any other cat. They all are evil. I know some of you are partisans, but still. Okay, there's a Q&A with Steve Carell and Timothée Chalamet about Beautiful Boy, which is based on not one book, but two books. And these two have been doing the rounds with Q&As and interviews and whatnot, and it's hilarious to me to listen to the interviews, listen to Timothée Chalamet talking about the challenges for an actor and getting into the head and inside the skin of a drug addict when this kid smokes 3 packs of cigarettes a day and doesn't even, because $8 billion in big tobacco money have been poured into PR campaigns and popular entertainment, the conflict never even comes into his mind, nor will it come into the minds of anyone who's listening to him. He is already a massive drug addict. He can't get through even 3 or 4 hours of one single day without going into withdrawal symptoms. His will is not his own. His actions are not his own. A huge chunk of his weekly income is not his own. Same thing with everyone else addicted to this drug. But do we think of it as a drug addiction? No. No. He had to get into all methody to understand the mind frame of a drug addict. But still, he's probably going to get nominated for an Oscar. For all I know, he'll win. Okay, then a bunch of TV stuff. Oh, look at that! Good Lord. Good Omens. Terry Pratchett's Good Omens is being adapted for the screen. And keep in mind, this is all before we get to the book section. There's just book stuff everywhere here. But sooner or later, we are going to get to the book section. It is sooner or later going to happen. Music. God. All right. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the very first thing in the book section is David Canfield reviewing Killing Commendatore by Haruki Murakami. So what does he have to say? Murakami crafts notoriously windy novels, but he's an equally gifted story writer, or short story writer. That quality is evident in Commendatore, even if it clocks in at around 700 pages, in the way it develops in slow, messy, often dazzling sections that build one on another. I actually agree with that. Murakami calls Commendatore his homage to The Great Gatsby, and the comparisons are obvious. I swear to God, I did not see any. I crawled through this book, and I did not see any. Unless they're so obvious that I was just discounting them. I don't know one way or another. Yet he aligns with F. Scott Fitzgerald in subtler, deeper ways, too, in the searching quality of the prose. I kind of like that. That's free books. Gotta go.